Joining us now are women's basketball head coach Ashleen Bracey and men's basketball head coach Rob Ehsan. Coach Bracey is entering her fourth year leading the Flames and has led UIC to back-to-back-to-back postseason appearances, while Coach Ehsan starting his second year in Chicago and helped lead the Flames to a 17-win season, with 10 of those victories coming in conference play during his first year at the helm. Coaches, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Phil, good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
So first things first, let's talk some offseason. How's the offseason been going for you two?
Ashleen, I'll let you go first as the triple back-to-back-to-back-to-back postseasons. You got it.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Offseason has been great. It's been full of recruiting as we graduated 10 seniors this past season who really established a really nice foundation for us, as you spoke of 3 consecutive postseasons. So a lot of recruiting, a lot of establishing relationships with our new players, establishing a set of shared values and how we're going to operate in terms of building a strong winning culture as we move forward. It's been really, the young ladies have been working extremely hard on the court, in the classroom. It's been, a really enjoyable off season, and we're really excited to get into the season.
Yeah, Phil, I would echo what Ashleen said. Our jobs have changed so much, in the last few years for a lot of reasons, and we have 10 new players. So kind of establishing, the culture of what we want, things to look like, how we're going to operate on a day-to-day basis, on the court, off the court, building connection. I think one of the things our team did so well last year was we built great connection with 11 new guys. So now we're trying to do it with 10 new guys. That's been a challenge that I enjoy. I think our staff really enjoys leaning into getting to know each other, on the court, off the court. And then, the summer goes by fast. We are already, I know Ashleen as well, we're almost done with summer workouts. So trying to figure out all the pieces and how they fit together, what we're going to do on offense, what we're going to do on defense, it's been a cool thing. You're kind of starting over every year to some degree, depending on who your personnel is and what you believe in as a coach. And I think it provides a unique excitement every year around this time that really, maybe in the past it wasn't the same.
We'll go in reverse order for this next question, and you both touched on it already, but there's a lot of new student athletes on both your programs. So just tell us about your team, some of these new student athletes that are representing the UIC Flames.
Yeah, well, first we returned 3 players, 2 of them redshirted. Ahmad Henderson was a significant part of our success last year. We signed 3 freshmen out of high school. So really right there, we have 5 players on our roster who have never played a college basketball game. So kind of unique. I think the other part was we signed a handful of transfers to give us a blend of some older guys, in the transfer portal, some younger guys that were with us last year and some young high school guys. So we feel like we have a pretty balanced and good mix. And our team's really unique, Phil. We just have a lot of unique different pieces. And I think as a coach, maybe one of the most unique years, and we have some guys who are really good defensively and might not be as good offensively. Some that are really good offensively and might not be as good defensively. So blending all these new guys is going to be a great challenge that we're looking forward to.
Awesome. I'm super excited about my team. I returned 5, one of which played significant minutes, brought in 3 freshmen, a couple from the Chicago area, which is always exciting, and then 6 transfers. So we are, putting it all together as Rob mentioned. 3 that I'd like to highlight, because I think they'll have the ability to make an immediate impact, would be Jessica Carruthers, who's a transfer from an NAIA school. She was the leading scorer in the nation at 30 points a game. And to be quite frank, outside of just UIC being, a really attractive place to come to school, NIL played a huge role in us being able to, seal that deal in beating out schools like UNLV, Wisconsin, and Florida. Another one is Jaya McClure, who's transferring to us from Ohio. She was an All-MAC selection 2 years in a row. So immediate experience that will really help us, just get off to a great start. And then Amelia Strong, who is top 25 in the country in offensive rebounds. Three of those young ladies that I mentioned. Obviously, UIC is a huge pull in Chicago, amazing campus, and we've established a winning culture here. But what I would say really tipped the jar for us would have been NIL.
And before we touch on NIL, coaches, for those on the call, they always want to know, who are we playing this year? Just what is maybe one or two non-conference games that you want to tell the fans about? Coach Bracey, you can go first.
Yeah, so we're super excited about playing at Indiana on November 7th. So that'll be a great matchup. They played in the NCAA tournament this past season. We actually have an opportunity to host Wisconsin here at UIC on November 19th. That will be an extra cool game because my brother is actually on their staff. And then a really special game, I think, just for the Chicago area, will be hosting DePaul here on December 17th.
Very exciting. We can't wait for all those games. What about you, Coach Ehsan?
We're trying to get Wisconsin to come play us, but unfortunately, they haven't agreed to come to Credit Union One Arena. That's awesome. Our schedule is going to be, our non-conference schedule is going to be extremely challenging. I think last year we were first or second in the Missouri Valley in strength of schedule non-conference due to a handful of road games. This year we will have, I think, 5 true road games. We'll play at Oregon State, the second game of the season, which is November 8th. Before Christmas, December 20th, we'll play at Charlotte. The day before Thanksgiving, we will play at Robert Morris, who went to the NCAA tournament. And then November, I think 15th, we'll play actually at Chicago State. Somebody, here in the areas, we've worked incredibly hard to try to get local teams to play us. So we were able to get that done. And then in November 3rd, I believe that Monday, I think, is our opening game against Detroit, a former Horizon Conference, friendly foe. So yeah, we're excited, extremely challenging. We'll go down to Florida and play in an MTE where we'll open up against High Point, who is in the NCAA tournament. So I expect our strength of schedule out of conference to be extremely challenging in a good way for us.
And we can't wait to follow the Flames all season. Head to uicflames.com, for up-to-date schedules and information throughout the year. Let's pivot over to NIL for a little. Coaches, in your careers, it's changed so much. Even during your times at UIC, it's changed. How does NIL impact your day-to-day job, and how does NIL impact roster building these days? Coach Ehsan, you can take this question first.
Yeah, I just, Phil, gave a big speech today to a bunch of UIC employees, and I said that if somebody asked me today, what are the 2 most important things that you do as a head coach? I would say it's building culture and raising money and being a fundraiser. And when I got into coaching 15, 20 years ago, you went on a couple, to meet some people to help out with that. But now it's incredibly important. And I think, I'm excited that we've opted in. As Commissioner Jackson said, I think our whole league has embraced NIL. And listen, we were a top 10 men's basketball league in the country last year. To be able to sustain that, NIL is going to be an instrumental part of that, of the future of us and all the other teams in our league to be able to compete against other mid-major teams. So I think it has a huge effect on building a roster. As Commissioner Jackson said, it's now one of the factors, and I would say it's one of the, arguably not the only factor, but it's an incredibly important factor for most student athletes that we're recruiting now. So to be able to be competitive in that space is obviously incredibly important, and we're excited about building that.
Coach Bracey?
Yeah, I'll echo what Rob mentioned. I think building a culture and establishing a set of shared values to give your team an opportunity to be successful. That's our job as coaches. And I think Coach Rob and I have both done that here at UIC. And I think when I think of NIL, I think of opportunity. And I know that word has been mentioned several times on this call. Valley, both ways, men's and women's basketball, very, very good league, playing into NCAA tournaments and winning games. And so I think what it does is to a place like UIC that's in Chicago, where we're able to get really big time recruits on campus to begin with, it allows us to secure really high level talent if we're willing to invest in the opportunity. And, I know Coach Rob and I are both really passionate about competing for championships. And, if we can get the right support around what we're doing, I think NIL can help us do that.
Coaches, just final thoughts. What should fans know about NIL and how it's affecting your programs moving forward? Coach Bracey, you can take this one first.
Yeah, I mean it's a part of our day to day, obviously, but I think probably the most amazing part about working here at UIC, and having leaders like Chancellor Miranda and Andrea Williams and many people on this call is that we're embracing it. And we've talked about it as an opportunity. And, so it's something that, as I mentioned, we are here to compete for championships. We are here to provide great experiences for our student athletes. And I think NIL is a great opportunity to help us get one step closer.
Well said. I think the other thing that I would just add is that, anybody, as people said, can donate, can help the Flames, men's basketball, women's basketball, all our sports. No donation is too small. I mean, we're not just looking for money, we're looking for support, we're looking for community that helps you win a championship and compete for championships. And I think, as Ashleen said, we have a great support system behind us. I know we're both excited about the upcoming season to build on what happened last year in Credit Union One Arena, and we're fired up about it.